So what can we do, or some of the causes? So stress, as we just mentioned, this is massive. A lot of people don't realize that this will totally interfere with the production of the thyroid hormones and how the thyroid hormones work. So again, watching for heavy metal contamination. So the biggest one that we see, obviously people know about fish and mercury and so on, but we also have mercury in fillings in our teeth. And that's more of a realistic cause. So whenever I have a thyroid issue or a client that comes in, please open up your mouth and we do a full inspection on your mouth. And that's what I was taught in my level 3 in the CHEK program. As a CHEK practitioner, we get taught how to screen eyes, ears, vestibular system, mouth, neck, organs, then through the musculoskeletal like a physical therapist. And then we work through I'm a personal trainer and a strength coach, so I'm a qualified strength coach. So we start to work with those to see if we can reduce heavy metal. Clays are very good for reducing heavy metal. There's also a product called Metal Free. If you just look up metalfree.com, you'll see a product that you can use to take heavy metal out of your life. High cholesterol levels and triglyceride levels have an inverse reaction to thyroid hormone levels as well. So if you have high cholesterol levels, now unfortunately most people don't know about that. High cholesterol levels actually will affect and bring on a thyroid issue. So if you do have a high cholesterol issue, you should have that addressed first. If you generally take a thyroid hormone, are you really solving the problem? Selenium intake. Unfortunately, Australia doesn't have much selenium in its soils. So products that are known to have high selenium levels, Brazil nuts. There's lots of other foods that have it. You can also get selenium drops or selenium supplementation. But there's lots of foods out there that have selenium in them, and Brazil nuts is just one of them. Zinc. Zinc is also very important. These are very important for the T3 and T4 conversion, so the thyroid, the major thyroid hormones. Magnesium intake is also essential. One of the things that we see, low protein intake. So that's one of the causes. So if a person is not eating proper proteins, or they're going and working on a vegan diet, which is quite challenging to balance out your proteins, and you need to be well educated to do that. It is possible to do that, but you need to work a lot more to do that. So if you do have that, one of the biggest foods that causes problems is soya. So soya foods with thyroid issues is a big no-no because the isoflavones and also the phytates that are in there, and they have an estrogen mimicking hormone that's plant estrols, and they elevate estrogen, and then we have an estrogen progesterone imbalance, and that causes a cascade problem. So fermented soya in small amounts is not so bad, but most of the soya these days, unless it's organic and fermented, I wouldn't go near it and I wouldn't touch it at all. And if you have a thyroid issue, you really got to get a lot stricter on what foods you need to eliminate that do not work with the thyroid. Another big cause is adrenal fatigue, and then gastrointestinal issues. So gut health, gastrointestinal issues, thyroid and the gonads really go together. So whenever you start to look at trying to fix or start to heal from a thyroid issue, you need to also make sure that there's no gut issues. So one of the things that we would do is get a good gut analysis, start to look at your digestive enzymes, your transit time, your colon transit time, see what's happening with permeation in the gut. So if you're not absorbing your food, so if there's something causing a problem with the villi of the stomach, so some people have irritable bowel syndromes there, or leaky gut, they can also develop then into a thyroid issue later on, because that causes inflammation. Inflammation raises cortisol. Cortisol starts the stress response. And if you don't have the gut working, you can't absorb all these nutrients and minerals, and therefore it's a knock-on effect, and you'll get treated as a thyroid issue when it's really a gut issue again. So again, a lot of the time we pick on the thyroid because we think, oh, but it's usually someone that's being pulled in as a super sub, as I said earlier on. It's tied into when the body's not functioning right. Gonads, so ovary and testes, so if there's any problems there, so people that have, a thyroid issue and that have had ovarian fibroids or ovarian cysts or menstrual problems or fertility problems, that's where my attention goes now, because that's a higher priority and that's a precursor to the thyroid issue that would have been there first, that would have spilled off into the thyroid dysfunction. Liver and kidney problems, as I said, and there we have the reverse T3. So reverse 3T also affects then the potency and how the body works. So there's normal T3 and T4, and then we call unbound T3 and T4, and then there's a reverse T3 and T4. And they're just the hormone profiles that you need to have a look at. Most people just get TSH, which is the thyroid-stimulating hormone, which actually tells you nothing. It's actually a crap test by itself. All it does is give you just a grain of salt, it's just one drop in the ocean. you really got to look at the full spectrum labs to really have a look at that. Also, be very careful. High insulin levels slow down and affect the thyroid. The pancreas slows down, and if it has insulin problems, the pancreas will slow down the conversion from T4 to T3. So that can be one of your leading causes for some of all your other symptoms. So again, if you have a thyroid issue, you need to get your pancreas checked out.